We're now with the county clerk, who is making her debut at a budget hearing. Brenda, welcome. And if you could introduce yourself and your colleagues and then make whatever presentation you'd like to make.
Thank you, Mayor Dean. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor Highnote, and Mr. Riebling. It is my great pleasure to join you today, and I want to introduce those joining me today. Tammy Drake, Director of Business Services, is seated next to me, and Tammy also handles our budget. And to my left is Mike Taylor, who is Chief Deputy Clerk of Motor Vehicles. Behind me is Joey Workman, Chief Deputy Clerk of Administration, and Janice Sontaney, my Director of Special Projects and Government Relations. As you said, this is my first budget hearing, and so if I appear a little nervous, it is no April Fool. I'm really nervous, so I'll try to settle in here. Seriously, though, today, April 1st, this city turns 50. And so, Mayor Dean, let me be among the first to wish you and all of Nashville a very happy birthday.
I wish I was only turning 50. That would be nice.
Yeah, it's this great city's birthday, so we want to celebrate that. As you know, I joined the clerk's office in August of last year, and it has been my great pleasure to serve the citizens of Davidson County for the last 7 months. I want to open my comments by sharing a few statistics. As of the end of February, the Davidson County Clerk's Office has performed approximately 400,000 motor vehicle transactions. Motor vehicle services, as you know, is the meat and potatoes of our operation. In light of the increased traffic we're seeing at our main branch, I believe we're on track to exceed last year's numbers. Since the beginning of the fiscal year, more than 3,200 couples have visited us to obtain a marriage certificate. We also believe that puts us on track to exceed last year's numbers of 5,000 certificates issued. We've also issued approximately 19,000 business licenses and other related permits. We've issued 1,800 notary commissions and provided passport and driver license services to approximately 7,700 citizens. All of this work, we believe, puts us on track to exceed our projected revenue goal of $4.7 million in fees and commissions. Since joining the clerk's office, we've had the opportunity to make what I believe are some substantial improvements. We've created new efficiencies that safeguard the revenue we collect on behalf of the citizens of Davidson County, and we hope to make even more. And Mr. Riebling, let me assure you that one of my top priorities has been and continues to be the timely submission of revenues to Metro. Less than 2 weeks after I took office, we stopped writing checks to the city. We entered the 21st century and implemented ACH transactions, resulting in a more appropriate transfer of funds to the city. We implemented a new operating system, BIS, which allows near real-time updating of motor vehicle records and information from the Tennessee Department of Revenue. We successfully converted our South Satellite office to an express location, allowing us to expedite transactions and to serve the public more efficiently. We partnered with the Metro Budget Office to recover lost revenue caused by insufficient funds drafts. In order to increase our ability to manage staffing during peak customer volume, planned vacancies, or unexpected absences, we have begun the implementation of a cross-training program. I am pleased to report to you that every full-time employee in the clerk's office can process a motor vehicle registration renewal, including me. The city's contract with Systech, the company that conducts our emissions testing, will expire in 2015. So we're working in partnership with the Metropolitan Health Department to draft an RFP for a new contract that will include at least one location that would allow drive-through emission testing and motor vehicle renewal simultaneously. We've also faced a few challenges, sir. The closing of walk-in service at the Tennessee Department of Revenue Vehicle Services Division has resulted in long lines and increased demand at our main branch. I will address this in more detail when I discuss our request for enhancements. Through telephone reports we generated, we discovered customer wait times in excess of 1 hour in some cases. For a customer service organization like ours, that is just unacceptable. Our goal is a wait time of 5 minutes or less, so we've made some changes and we're keeping a close eye on our improving response time. A physical inventory audit revealed 700 missing plates from a shipment that arrived in our office in June of 2012. We have implemented policies that ensure that future shipments are inspected and accounted for at the point of delivery. We've seen an increase in the use of our online and mail renewal services. They make up about 10% of our motor vehicle transactions, but our challenge is to increase that number even more. We need to get the word out that doing business with us online is safe, secure, and a real time saver. I'm meeting with ITS Director Keith Durbin just after this meeting to discuss the possibility of the development of a smartphone app for motor vehicle renewals. I want to shift just a little bit now and talk about the enhancements that we've asked for. I've submitted a request for enhancements that would allow us to hire 3 additional motor vehicle clerks, fill a chief auditor position, and continue armored service and an improvement for postage. On September 1, the Department of Revenue discontinued walk-in services to taxpayers and local businesses in its Vehicle Services Division on Vantage Way. The daily average of walk-in customers at that location was 150 to 200. Most of those customers now have found their way to the Howard office building. The lines that form in our lobby most days are a result of this change, and we have requested 3 additional positions as a way to respond to the increased demand. Our request for an improvement in postage is needed to support the increased demand for our mail and renewal services, as well as to respond to 2 rate increases by the U.S. Department of Postal Service. Additionally, our request for enhancements would allow us to continue the use of an armored service to transport the revenue we generate at our 5 satellite offices and our main branch. When I first began working in the clerk's office, I realized 2 employees were responsible for transporting large amounts of cash to and from our various sites. In order to reduce risk and ensure the safety of our employees, we began using an armored service, and we feel it is important to continue that practice. Finally, we're asking for funding to hire an in-house chief auditor position, one that's been unfunded for several years. We can all here agree that our office has had some difficulty adhering to audit recommendations, and I want to ensure that we follow generally accepted best practices in our bookkeeping, inventory, and purchasing. This position would ensure our ability to recognize potential deficiencies and allows us to be more proactive and less reactive. Before I conclude, I want to take a moment to recognize the hard work of the staff of the County Clerk's Office. Each day they do an important job while serving the citizens of Davidson County, and I want them to know how much that is appreciated. That concludes my remarks, Mr. Mayor, and I will entertain any questions that you have.
So the folks who are coming from the state facility that shut down, what service are they looking for?
Title, mostly title services.
Right, and so they're in the process of buying or selling their car.
In the process of buying, selling, or just needing to get a title, replacing duplicate titles. I think that office had operated for so many years that a lot of people used it exclusively and didn't come to our office. But once the state closed that office, all of that traffic has been directed to us.
Are they individuals or dealers? Or
it's a variety of people, yes.
And why did the state close it?
I guess certain efficiencies and apparently they didn't operate an office like that in any other city, but again, that office had operated here for how many years, Mike?
Well, 25 years or longer, yeah. It's maybe some, restraints to budgeting and funding, Department of Revenue changing up.
So these are walk-ins who just come in, they don't have an appointment, they ask for they want this information.
They walk in and they get in line, and generally our line begins to fill up around the lunch hour, and that line can stay long up until 3:30, 4 o'clock. Some days it's longer than that. They're not quite this long. I don't know whether you got a chance to see this. This is a Metro retrospective paper, and it shows the lines at the clerk's office back when they had to line up outside this office to register. They're not that long, but
so then the lines get as long as 1 hour wait?
We have had wait times of about an hour. Yes, sir.
Have you looked at alternative ways of handling this? I mean, because it's almost, I mean, for the 3 positions, I guess it's, it's $250,000 to rectify a line. Have you looked at other ways of approaching it?
Well, okay. I thought we were asking for about $93,000.
Well,
that's not all. That's
Okay.
the total improvement request,
Okay.
Mayor. It's 267.
Okay.
For the 3 additional staff is with benefits and everything is about $140,000.
Okay. With benefits.
$140,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I have 3 full-time employees, 267.
Right. Yeah, but there's other improvements. Some of that's postage, and some of it is
There's a 4th position
and
that's
some
not listed
security.
there.
And the 4th position is
It's-
not listed
it's-
as the audit
it's the
position.
chief auditor
Right.
position.
That should actually be 4 positions, not 3 on your
Is there a
notes.
way to do a kiosk or something so people can sort of self-process
From-
through that?
Well,
Have you looked at that?
I believe I heard in some cities that, and I think in Milwaukee where they had kiosk, we haven't quite gotten there.
Does it work?
I guess it did work, but apparently they were only doing about 17% of the renewals through the kiosk.
Okay.
And I have to admit, our heaviest traffic is on the last and first day of the month, but the title work, the closing of that state office has generated such a flow of traffic in our office that, again, some days I'll go out and I do renewals, and if we can, have somebody there to help peel off, some of the traffic that's in there, it helps. We're doing all we can to move people back to the front lines.
We are getting some additional revenue because of this. Is
We
that right?
absolutely
Is that-
are getting
so
additional
Do
revenue.
we have a sense about how much, since we've taken this over from the state, about how much additional revenue maybe we've generated? Do we have those numbers? Can we break that down? It may not be able to be broke down that way.
We can try to break it down, but it's my understanding from the state that they issued approximately 110,000 titles at that location last year. So that's 110 at about, $7.50 a title? That in additional revenue that we would possibly generate. So there's additional revenue that's generated from those titles.
Yeah, it'd be good to know.
Yeah, let's just do a little analysis. I think
Okay.
as we get forward, if we could just get a little breakdown in terms
Okay.
of kind of what revenue we think we've generated from this service, and to sort of do a cost benefit of adding
Okay.
these people, but we've generated X, and it'd be good to see that.
Yes, sir.
And then I just want to compliment you and your department for all you've done to
Thank you.
sort of restore the department, and I think you've a lot of new and confidence in what's going on there. So that's a major achievement we should not overlook, and it's been less than a year. So
Thank you, sir.
good work there. Rich, you got anything?
No, just to amplify a little bit what you said. I know that obviously the finance department works closely with the clerk's office, and it's been a great relationship for the last year, and I think everyone is real comfortable with what's going on and sensitive to the needs. Our offices, most of my finance staff are in your building, so
Yes, sir.
they've witnessed some of the increase in people coming in and out that getting services. So, but it's been a great cooperation.
Greg?
Brenda's great with me.
Brenda's great. All right.
Thank you,
you.
sir.